you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Thomas, you have no audio on your
Son of a gun. Well, let's just go ahead and get this started. Welcome to another episode of Disclosure tonight. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, Mike. I did the whole intro. I welcomed in the whole audience. You're all there. I even commented, yes, friends, the chat has been fixed. We have our regular names back again. It's been one of those days. It's hot. Well, it's not hot here. It's just humid as all ever right now. Mike, welcome to Fuck You Friday.
Oh, you ain't kidding. It definitely is. And it certainly looks like it with what's going to be coming up soon at that Fuck You UAP hearing on September 9th that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. You know, there was drama going on when we had, I'll use the name because I coined it first before Kirkpatrick came in. We had the lunatic, Paulina Luna, going off on Dr. Eric Davis. He's a respected person in the UFO community. Hell, she didn't know who the heck he was. She said, who is this guy? Although she had sat next to him in their UFO round table, really is more of a straight table on that one. And they even went into a skiff together. And she couldn't remember because she had so much adrenaline pumping through her. We love you, Paulina, but sometimes you need to slow down. But, Eric, it came out last week, I believe, or earlier this week, or whenever the heck it was. It's all a blur now, folks. Too many days going to the hospital to check on my dear father-in-law. Anyway, as we get through this, Eric Davis said, Mike, I believe that there's no real whistleblowers coming forward for this hearing. And she said, yes, we're having a hearing. I don't know who the hell you are, until people reminded her. And she had a tantrum, but they gave out the witness list. There's nothing spectacular there. It's just another nothing burger to a degree. But then we had this stuff come out today from Paulina Luna. I've never seen her without makeup, her hair pulled back, all relaxing in her office. And, talking over at the Soul Foundation, and she let out that, our title card for tonight, where did that go? Here we go. Yes, UAP witnesses are scared for their life. And more importantly, Mike, they're not willing to testify. You got to wonder why Tim Burchett brought out that bill that's never gone anywhere to go ahead and try and protect whistleblowers.
Yeah, that's because there isn't sufficient whistleblower protections on the law books for them to come forward and be protected. But Congress has worked very diligently to prevent that from happening for many years now. So it's no shock or surprise.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that seems to go on, Mike, on that note. Should we play the video clip of Paulina Luna talking about this morning?
Oh, absolutely.
Got a bunch of clips to get through today, folks. God, it is how you I got to find out how humid it is. It feels like it's like 70 to 80% humidity right now. So let me go ahead and find the video. Let's go ahead, pop it up on full video vision here. And all right, here we go. Let's play it.
We had tried to get another hearing with the task force before this one, and every single witness we had reached out to said that they didn't want to testify because they were scared for their life. And these were not people that you see in the media. These were not, podcasters or anyone who's made a career talking about it. These were legitimate, former military and/or military contractors, and they were literally afraid of being killed. And then you had David Grusch tell us directly that he was actually, felt in fear of his life, and weird things had happened prior to that first hearing. And then I would encourage all of you to actually reach out to him, because even just yesterday I actually went into the skip with David Grusch and Eric Burleson. And prior to that SCIF meeting happening, there was something really bizarre that took place with David Grusch, and it's being handled at the law enforcement level. But, things like that happening are not normal, especially being that David Grusch is currently Eric Burleson's congressional staffer. And so you're seeing a lot of stuff now flush out. What I can tell you is we are trying to actively push to release the information that we've seen to the American people. And so, again, you have this aspect of this disinformation campaign that's taking place, trying to discredit it. And I frankly don't care at this point, because what I can tell you is the people that are genuinely interested in the actual science of this, the people like Dr. Avi Loeb, who actually can provide the data to back this stuff up, those people know the truth. And so we're not necessarily doing this for the people on X that are trying to discredit it. We're doing for the people that are actually taking this seriously. And then also to remember, this is a very, very big deal, especially from a national security perspective. And so I've actually also had meetings with officials of foreign governments. I won't get into what those governments are, but I did ask for any information that they could share in regards to this topic. And I bring that up because the US government is not the only government that has taken a particular interest in this. And there are going to be, I think there's going to be some...
Mike, I've heard in the past that Oman actually has a high interest in disclosure. And they're off in the Middle East, aren't they?
They've been very quiet and silent, but there was allegedly a lot of activity that was potentially supposed to be going on behind the scenes years ago.
Yeah, I know.
You and I are very well aware of that. Yes.
And we actually have another video clip here that I want to play. It's been sitting here. It actually kind of jumps into this. Let's hear the rest of this one, then we'll jump over there. Here we go.
Information presented in the upcoming hearing from George Knapp on the topic. But again, we've been able to branch out and talk to other governments in regards to this. So
there you go, Mike. The witnesses that they wanted to come forward, just like we heard, aren't willing to come forward because they fear for their life. We've heard this story somewhere before, haven't we?
David Grusch. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Lou Elizondo. I mean, there's plenty of people that have come out publicly and paid the price for doing that, and then filed complaints with the Inspector General's office that were found credible. So, yeah, they need to have protections on the law books if they are going to come out and speak the truth about what they know, and not have to suffer the consequences of doing that without protection.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation, Mike, and it just gets even deeper. While a lot of people in the UFO community out there who do live streams won't give this the breadth of air it deserves, we're going to cover it, Mike, because we cover both sides of the story here. Believe it or not, we've got another post coming up from the Stephen Greenstreet, who came out, and he asked Sean Kirkpatrick, the former director of RO of the Pentagon's UFO office, to respond to Paulina Luna's announcing yet another congressional UFO hearing featuring, as Stephen would call it, dubious UFO personalities. Now, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, but you know what? A lot of people who watch our show aren't over on Twitter. They don't get down to into the deeds on this, and a lot of the other podcasts don't cover it. So shall we get into it?
Absolutely, my
friend. You better. Let's have fun with this, like everything we have fun with.
That's true.
Yeah. Do I have that one around? No, I don't. I'll find that later. Actually, yeah, I do. Do I? Hey, look, is it here? No, I didn't put it in. I need to put this one here as something that I can bring up at any time. Okay, let's go ahead and get there. I need to bring up the Carl Nell quote and have that as on video demand that we can bring up at any time. So let's get to this. All right, here we go. This is coming to us. You know, some questions that were asked. Would Sean Kirk? Where'd that go? All right, so here's what Sean Kirkpatrick had to say about Representative Luna's upcoming UFO hearing. Sean Kirkpatrick, if Luna and her lunatics. Now, Mike, I did start using the word lunatic technically weeks before Sean Kirkpatrick. That's when she was attacking Lou Elizondo and threatening to bring him in under subpoena into a skiff.
Right.
But I didn't add the S on the end, but close enough.
Well, there we go.
Want to continue to parade charlatans and grifters in front of the audience to satisfy her need for playhouse politics. Then the American people should demand accountability of all the wasted taxpayer money and congressional time she has derailed from more serious issues facing this country. Now, realistically speaking, this is an important issue that does face our country. While he is a skeptic more than, well, anyone else we know for that matter, we'll have colored commentary on this. Now, I did miss you before, Sierp. You have your hand up. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just going to wait till you're done with the Luna piece, and then I was going to speak. I just wanted to have my hand raised ahead of time.
All right, sounds good.
That's all. Thank you.
All right, Mike, let's get back at this. Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
So clearly she has been working quietly with these pseudoscientists and attention seekers to script a hearing and then launch it as a surprise onto the world. Wasn't that surprise? They said when it was going to happen. Possibly distract, or more likely because that's all she is qualified to do. Ooh, burn on that one. In the face of international crisis, where is the accountability? Where is DOGE when there is a legitimate target of fraud, waste, and abuse in Congress? More importantly, Mike, I think if you're talking about frayed, waste, and abuse, that would be RO, because they're not doing the job that Congress put them in their role to do, right?
Right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
They're not following their mission statement.
Yeah. Where is the DOJ investigation into the congressional misappropriation and corruption associated with trying to funnel money to these grifters? More like the people, the Democrats who shipped it offshores and bring it back, but we're not supposed to talk about that. And actively obstruct legitimate work by the DOD and IC. Oh, what do you mean legitimate? Like covering it up, Sean? Come on. It's a disgrace to the Congress and the U.S. government and only serves to provide reality TV. Well, I guess it's reality TV, but it sucks and no one's going to watch it. They will, but it's never one of these hearings, Mike. They have never hit the headline on any major newspaper around the world. Let's just say that.
Unfortunately, but I tell you, the closest we came was when David Grusch testified. It did get people's attention because of what he said. But that was it. And then it died down.
Yeah. So we got one crazy person going after someone else or back and forth each other. It's just drama, Mike. But you know, when there's not a lot of things going on, what does the community look for? Drama.
Oh, absolutely. When there's no
drama.
disclosure,
And when you leave the room, stabbing you in the back. It's a common thing that happens in this community.
all the time, Thomas. You and I are both well aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
From people that would actually surprise a lot of the,
people you think they're your friends, and in reality, they've been lying to your face all along just to get your contacts.
Yeah, it happens. It's been known to happen in this community.
Oh, yeah. So the community has been going crazy. They've all been going after Kirkpatrick, including Paulina Luna. And shit, what do they got? They got a picture from, what was it? The Good Old Good Trouble show, and put that out there with the Pinocchio nose and stuff. It's an old picture, but if that's the best they've got, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
You go with what you have.
Oh, give me a second. I'm getting there. All right. So, all right. This is another clip. Hopefully it's not overlaying what we just saw. This is another one that we've got out there from X. Let me bring this down really quick and bring it out. With external application. There we go. All right. I think this is a bit different. Let's see where it is. I'm not saying things like little green men, as they go on to say. So let's see if this is going to be a same repeat. Here we go.
is you just said that you and your committee member.
Hold on there. Sorry about that. I need to rewind, get it back to the regular show. Here we go, folks.
Is you just said that you and your committee members will attempt to approach the president to get access to the program or programs in which UAP affairs are housed. Now, I'd like to ask you a question about that. From most of the contacts I have who are retired from the intelligence community that either worked on this stuff or were adjacent to it, their testimony suggests that the program or programs that deal with this are somehow legally under direct presidential control. Have you heard that testimony?
I haven't heard that testimony, but I have heard, just based on my own hunt to try to get these clearances. Because remember, as members of Congress, we should be given access to everything, right? We have the highest need to know on anything, but being able to get access to the programs is a little bit different. And so, specifically with the DoD, the Department of Energy, and ODNI, you still have the heads of these various agencies and then the agencies themselves that set the classification. But the overarching boss of that is the executive branch, thus the President of the United States. And so because of the fact that we have, and it feels like we've been blockaded on many efforts, we are going all the way up to the top. And I will say that, there aren't a lot of members of Congress, again, that are willing to, push forward in this effort. But Representative Burleson, Representative Burchett, even Representative Crane have been very helpful in all of this. And so that is what we're trying to do. The executive branch specifically actually did give permission to Eric Burleson to set up a codel to Area 51. Now, do I think Area 51 is housing anything currently? No. But I will say that we have heard testimony from pilots that have stated and that they've seen weird things happening over there. And so what's been interesting about all this as well is that there do seem to be these hot spots and reporting that we've come across in which these things tend to pop in and out of. And so for us, from a congressional perspective, I'm not saying that these things are little green men, but what I am saying is it's definitely something that we need to look into and to take seriously. And I'm not the only one that thinks that either. I'm just the only one that's going public about it.
Yeah, we know that there are many people in Congress that take this seriously, but are saying a lot less publicly than one would expect, given the gravity of the issue.
Mike, I'd love to know who those members of Congress are, because if they're keeping quiet on it, why? Oh, I guess it's kind of like, why did we lose Representative Tim Burchett and all this stuff? Something's fishy's going wrong these days, my friend.
Because he probably knows that any real information will not be coming forward to Congress or the public. And as he likes to say all the time, it's a cover-up. We are at a point right now where disclosure itself, the entire movement, has ground to a halt. We have official hearings that they have put together for a third time. And now we're not going to have anybody of any value or merit that is going to be testifying with any firsthand direct knowledge of any of the legacy programs. Like Burleson publicly was stating originally that we were only going to be dealing with witnesses with firsthand knowledge, hands on a craft, and you're not going to hear he said, she said, trust me, bro testimony. But in the end, it looks like that's all we're going to end up with, because they can't bring any actual people with information forward because they're not properly protected under the law. And last time I checked, the branch of government that creates the laws is Congress. So if they can't do it, then it can't be done, which is probably why Burchett has really nothing good to say about this. So, like he likes to say, his mama taught him that if he has nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. He's taking her advice, it looks like.
Wait a minute, didn't they steal that from Bambi?
Yeah, well, no, I don't know about Bambi, but it's an old saying either way. But that's probably why we haven't heard anything from Burchett, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, to say the least, when someone who had some of the most salacious quotes of things going out there has been literally silenced.
Well, it has, but I don't really have a lot of sympathy for Congress at this point. They're trying to come across like they're innocent victims in all of this, but you and I have talked privately about this at length. The truth of the matter is Congress knows exactly what's going on, and they know what their shortfalls are and their shortcomings and how to address it. And the problem is, decade after decade, time goes on, they complain about the same shit, but they don't do anything to fix or correct it. So I'm really tired of listening to them bitch and complain, but not fix the actual problem.
Yeah.
They know what
Mike,
the
can I
issues
jump
are.
in here real quick?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so, but it's no fault of Luna's or Tim's, right? Congress as a whole, sure, but there's members of Congress that would love to have these whistleblower laws passed, right?
Burchett ran his own whistleblower protection amendment. It was one page. That's all it was, one page. And he tried to get it run through Congress, if you remember. They shut it down hard and fast. Well, didn't want to have anything to do with it. So do I blame them for doing that and preventing the whistleblowers from coming forward? Hell yes, I do.
But
That was their act.
Maybe my civics is not the best, but wouldn't Tim Burchett and Luna be considered members of Congress?
They are, but the problem is the rest of Congress that would have to vote and pass this are
Right.
not cooperating. And one person in a body of 435 members is not able to get the law passed on their own.
So yeah,
So-
that's all I was trying to make clear. I guess I feel like Luna and Tim sometimes get they get crap thrown at them, right, or slung at them. But they're trying to do the right thing, man. They just don't have enough juice to be able to do the right thing.
Well, wasn't it, Mike, we're talking about this earlier, that if you look back in time, was it the 50s or something when 58. Tell us about it, Mike.
1968. There was Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. And we got into the Vietnam War with the Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964. So Congress had a hearing, and they had Secretary McNamara testifying. And they wanted to know about security clearances. And he told them that he has 25 clearances to date. And they wanted to know why they also, members of Congress, had security clearances, like on the Armed Forces Committee, the Intelligence Committee, why they weren't able to get access to certain information out of the Defense Department. And Secretary McNamara informed Congress on the record publicly that the White House, the head of the executive branch, also has to assign a need-to-know authorization with the clearances for any sitting member of Congress or anybody with clearances to access that information. And until the executive branch is willing to grant access, no matter how many clearances members of Congress have, they're never going to get access to that information. They knew this 50 years ago. It was spelled out plainly for them. Had they done anything from then to now to fix that problem? No. They have not. They bitch about it, but they don't fix it.
Nope, they don't. Does that answer your question, sir?
Well, Sarah, here's the answer to your question. You wanted to know, well, it's not just Luna or Burchett. No, you're right, it's not. It's all of Congress. So, well, how do you fix the problem? Well, I'll tell you how you fix the problem. If you know for 50 years plus that Congress is effectively completely shut down and blocked from any type of oversight due to the executive branch, and more specifically the fucking White House, and they know that's standing in the way, which is at that point making the third branch of the government, the legislative branch, which is Congress, meaningless and completely powerless because of those obstacles. You would think that they would band together and they would focus an attempt on addressing the executive branch and those obstacles and finding a way around it, because if they don't do that, then their branch basically just sits there, collects a paycheck, and isn't able to do anything. They're not able to function in the capacity that they were given under the Constitution of the United States. But looking back at history, like we just discussed, in 50 fucking years, they haven't once addressed this problem or fixed it. So it's no surprise that it's still biting them in the ass today and preventing them from gaining any ground or traction on trying to get any information, not just on disclosure, but anything that the executive branch or the Department of Defense is actually doing in the government,
or the
zero
Department
oversight.
Or the Department of Energy, Mike. And if we look back in time on this particular point, and you look back to 1947, within days of the crash at Roswell, they passed the National Security Act, right?
Correct.
And after that, we transitioned from the United States of America to the National Security State of America. And in doing so, they neutered Congress' ability to fuck anything and basically turn them into a eunuch. Let's just be honest about it. And because they don't have the need to know, they'll never know about what's really going on because it's a matter of national security and we can't talk about any of it. You've heard that from Lou a number of times, and a bunch of other people saying they can't get into it because of national security.
But so Luna literally just said she was going to address the executive branch on that issue to get those security clearances needed to investigate.
Excuse me.
So-called there, right?
This is September. The new administration came in when? January 18th?
Yep.
What the fuck are they doing? Seriously.
So where's? So the ball's in the executive branches. The ball's in their court.
The ball's in Congress's court.
Since 1947, like Thomas just pointed out, sir.
So it's not Congress, it's the executive branch, right? Luna just said she was going to address the executive branch on the clearance issues, that she understands there's an issue there, and that she was going to address the executive branch. Well,
she did. She did address the issue. She did address it head on, but in typical fashion, she didn't follow up, and she's pointing fingers at people. What the fuck am I talking about? Let me go ahead and bring it up right now and share it with the audience. All right, here we go. These were the letters that they put out from the whole House Oversight Committee, right? Saying to the Department of Energy, to the Department of State, to the head of the CIA. We got it twice here, but the letter's basically saying we want to have information about UFOs, all the information you have in the Department of Energy, where we know this is where majority of this stuff is hidden, where the things going on from the Secretary of State. Remember, Rubio talked about this stuff a lot. He was someone who was vocal in supporting disclosure. When we had the UAP flying over the United States, they had them in Dead Horse, Alaska, the Yukon, and then it was down by Maelstrom Air Force Base where they have our nukes. And finally, they shot one of them down over Lake Huron. He was saying, I certainly hope what we're dealing with here is UAP, because if it's not, we're fucked. So, Marco Rubio, and then we have the Honorable John Ratcliffe, who used to be the director of national intelligence, and he spilled the beans at right after he transitioned out of office. He gave the most, consequential statement about this, saying we've got the proof, we've got the evidence, we've seen from satellites, we have all this stuff, we ran out of time and couldn't get it out, yet he's the head of the CIA that supposedly handles the cover-up, and he hasn't delivered shit. Why? Because his boss doesn't want him to, right, Mike?
That's correct. Like Thomas has been saying for years now on the show, publicly, it all begins and ends in the White House.
Bingo.
It's the top level. It's the executive branch. The President of the United States, with the swipe of a pen, can clear all of these classifications, declassify everything, and bring the truth out. And if the President doesn't want that, no member of his cabinet, not the CIA, not the FBI, not the DNI, they cannot release this information without the President.
I don't mean to drag this out, man. I don't want to waste their time. But I guess, so how is that Congress's fault that the executive branch doesn't want to play ball?
Because I'll tell you, the executive branch has been doing this since 1947, right? But Congress has been aware of this, at least on the record, for the historic record, since 1968. It was put right in their faces. Did they band together? Did they form a way to regain power to the legislative branch and force it away from the executive branch? Not in 50 years, sir. They have not done anything to get that power vested back out of the executive branch. Not a damn thing. So they want to complain and bitch about it. They should do something about it.
But you keep saying there are, like we said earlier, there are people in Congress trying to do something about it. Luna, Eric, these people are trying to. They just don't have the juice to get other members of Congress to want to play ball, right?
Well, then what do you do when you're in a group and people are not playing ball? You get their attention. You focus all of your efforts and group together and network with people who are on the same side with you, and you have them address all of the other people who are not and work progressively to affect that change and have Congress say, you know, wait a minute, we're getting paid, we're showing up every day, but we have no power and authority. That's resting in the White House and the executive branch with the president. That means we're coming in here and not able to really do a damn thing. Maybe we should band together, file new legislation, and force that power back to where it belongs according to the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because it is written in the Constitution that it's not the executive branch and the executive branch alone that will organize and govern the United States of America. No, there are three distinct branches that the Constitution laid out: the judicial, the legislative, and the executive. And it seems that since 1947, with the National Security Act, we don't have three functioning members of the government. And I'll tell you why. Well, Congress, we know, has become, like Thomas pointed out, a eunuch. They were castrated. They have no authority.
Yeah.
Well, then what's left? The executive branch, which is running the show. Well, who else is there? The judicial branch, right? Okay, here's the unique, interesting little loophole about the judicial branch. When you have an issue that goes before the Supreme Court, the one exception that they will tell you is that if this is considered to be a matter of national security, we cannot and will not rule on it. So what does that mean? The judicial branch has no authority over the executive branch. The legislative branch has no authority over the executive branch. This is something that's been going on since the passage of that act in 1947. Has the judicial done anything to override that? No. Has
Not
Congress
once.
done anything to override that? No.
Nope.
So we are dealing with a government that runs everything, and it all begins and ends in the executive branch. That's it. And we know, as far as this subject is concerned, they ain't going to tell us shit.
No, Mike, because they need to stop complaining about the smell, finish their shit, get off the pot and flush. Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. If they banded together to get their power back, they could have made it happen in 50 years. They haven't. Maybe they don't want to. I don't know. Thomas and I know that there's a lot of shenanigans that go on behind the scenes in Congress with the executive branch. We broke stories about it. We know exactly who the key members are. And we know that the executive branch is very good at, number one, when dealing with elected officials in the Congress, they appeal to their patriotism. Why? Because a lot of these elected officials are former military. And if you have a member of the military that is serving in Congress and you appeal to their patriotism, you can apply pressure. It will work. The other thing that they use to seal the deal is if there is any dirt floating around out there that the executive branch is aware of, like an unnamed sex tape, they will use that as a threat to expose it publicly to get members of Congress to play ball with them, which has worked in the past and will continue to work. This is the game that's being played. This is what Thomas and I have been covering for a long time now, and this shit still goes on, and it stinks. So if she's complaining publicly that the smell of shit stinks throughout Congress, like Thomas said, they should do something about it. Work together.
Yeah.
Know what the goal is. Come up with a plan.
Remember, Mike, it was disclosed, I believe, last year by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand out in New York, where she disclosed that a lot of these programs are covered up in what presidential or executive branch special access programs. And when we dug into it, it turned out it's not the Gang of Eight that get to know about what's going on in the executive special access programs. It's the Gang of Four, which is the head and minority leaders of the Senate and the Speaker of the House and the minority leader of the House. 4 people that I seriously don't trust.
No, not at all. Not as far as we could throw them. And if you remember, it was Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp's witness, Matthew Brown, who was the author of the Immaculate Constellation report that was submitted to Congress. It came out publicly that program was not a DOD special access program. It was actually a presidential unacknowledged special access program, which the public had never heard that term before because nobody said anything publicly about that. But yeah, that's a real thing that exists, and that's how they were able to do what they did. And when Susan Goff was asked by reporters if she had any knowledge or information of a secret Pentagon Department of Defense program called Immaculate Constellation, she told them no. They thought she was lying. The truth of the matter is she wasn't. She was telling the truth because that program wasn't run out of the DOD. It was run out of the White House, the president. So she told them the truth. And this is the game that the executive branch has been playing with Congress, the public, for decades now.
Yeah.
And this goes on. It doesn't end. And that's why we haven't gotten any closer to the truth than with what we have so far. Unfortunately.
Bring out the broom, Mike. We gotta take her vehicle away and chase her off your picture here. Here we go.
Oh God, the erection killer.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh God, pull the ejection. There we go. Okay, getting back into it. Eric Burleson was interviewed by Matt Laszlo last night, I think, and he said UAP caucus deploying new strategy to, quote, send shockwaves to the IC, the intelligence community. Representative Eric Burleson tells Askapol UAPs, and I think I got the audio clip for this here. And yes, Matt, we did renew our $80 a year subscription to you for your wonderful job. Keep it going, my friend. You've got great work happening. Let me go ahead and let's bring up this audio clip of Matt interviewing Eric Burleson. Let's get to it. Here we go. I got 30 seconds in. That should get us back past the intro. All right, here we go. Pray we can hear it. Oh, God. There we go.
What are you hoping Tuesday's hearing answers?
I don't know how the hearing is going to go.
But, okay, audience hate me for this, but this is what I do so well. One thing they haven't stated about this hearing besides announcing it and taking all the glory for it, what do they plan to accomplish with this hearing, more importantly, with the witnesses they've brought forward? It's a legitimate question. It's not that we're just having a hearing. What's it to raise public awareness and help their re-election campaigns? No, but what do they hope to gain from it? And more importantly, what the fuck are they going to do with that information? Because it seems like you've had some hearings, some good ones, some not so good ones, and Congress doesn't do shit. So what's the point?
David Grusch gave them names, addresses, locations. They could have acted upon it since July 26, 2023. And we're heading into 2026 now. And what have they done with that information? Well, Lou Elizondo's personal attorney, Ivan Hanel, came on the show, and he said that Congress never acts with them when any information given to them. They don't investigate. They don't get subpoenas. They don't pull these people out. They don't get this information. They do nothing with anybody that's bringing information forward and putting themselves at risk to put themselves out and give this information. They don't. Congress never acts on it.
Yeah.
So that's true. That's another big problem.
All right. Sorry to pause it. I'm getting some of our fans yelling from upstairs. Just play the fucking video. It's not video. It's audio. And now just pray you can understand what's being said. Here we go. And I will shut up.
I don't know how the hearing is going to go. We've had people, I think we've got at least 2 good witnesses.
Which two?
I can't say.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. I'll let the committee release that.
Oh, she already released all 4 names.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay, good.
Knapp and some others.
Yeah, so there's some good people in there. But what I want your listeners and everyone who's paying attention to this to know is that there's much more that we are doing behind the scenes to get to make connections to people, get and make progress in addition to writing letters. So you'll be hearing that we're going to be dropping interrogatories. I don't know if you've heard about that. So this is probably of the things that are going to happen. I'm actually more excited about us dropping these letters that are essentially like a FOIA request for information.
That's an
But Mike, we showed the interrogatories earlier. They were already set off on February 11th of this year. So now they're talking about doing the same thing. Let's continue. I just had to show it to get my point across. All right, here. Oh, is it this one? Okay, here we go.
They call it an interrogatory. And so we will be doing that.
Is it kind of like at the subpoena level, or is it more?
I'm not an attorney,
but it's just formal.
But I'm told that it's a formal request, and that when we make that it will send. It will basically send shockwaves through the interest people. Yeah.
Huh. Someone was asking, what happened to David Grusch's op-ed?
Op-ed? Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. But now he's a staffer.
I think that he's moved on to other things. Yeah. He still has it. He could always drop it at some time.
So for this hearing, why not have?
They finally asked the fucking question. What happened to the op-ed? Laszlo is listening to his viewers. Thank God.
And us.
Oh, yeah.
The FBI folks, because it's on transparency, or do they just want to stay in the shadows?
Yeah,
this is more Pentagon focused?
This is, focused on the Pentagon.
What do you hope the takeaway is? More for the UAP community or more for the government?
I mean, I don't know. I think that I hope that we get some new insights from the witnesses. But what I'm saying is, even if we get nothing new, I think that.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah, you don't need a crystal
even if
ball.
we get nothing, so he's already starting a gradual letdown.
Yeah, he already knows what's coming. Nothing.
Yeah.
And you don't need a crystal ball to realize that anybody that they're going to have coming out publicly now has already spoken about whatever their story is. That's out publicly.
And like
One
we
of them
always
is
tell our audience, don't get your hopes up. Wait till you hear it and you hear something you can celebrate on, because statistically speaking, every single time they have gotten the community's hopes up, it's failed. So don't get crushed. Don't hold your breath. When we get an answer, we'll be there and say, God, this is great. If not, well, we can say, told you so. Syrup, your hands up.
Is it possible? Do you see a possibility of George Knapp releasing any or testifying in front of Congress about anything that maybe he's been holding back, or do you think he's going to go to? He's going to protect the people that give him the information, right? He doesn't want, because that's what makes him a good journalist. What do you think? Do you think there's a possibility that could happen?
That he's going to burn a source? Never, sir. That would never happen.
Let's hope we don't hear anything about Lazar.
Do you think there's any information any of these guys could give that could move the needle or get people in Congress to want to push for more?
Without direct evidence or hard proof, no. If they're going to tell more stories, which more than likely is what they're going to do, like Burleson just said, there's going to be nothing new there. No, it's not going to change anything for Congress.
And also, Mike, if any of this stuff has to go through DOPS or clearance, we won't hear anything that's worth anything. Be honest.
But the last hearing that they had on November 13th with the 4 witnesses that testified, they said everything that they were going to say publicly long before that hearing. We're going to get a repeat performance of that with this upcoming hearing on September 9th. Anything that these people are going to talk about, like George Knapp, like the podcaster that's going to be testifying, we've already heard these stories publicly. What is he going to talk about, the podcaster? Oh, the red orb, the red UFO above the base? Yeah, well, he's already talked about that publicly. He's going to testify now under oath about it? Great. Big fucking deal. He's saying it under oath.
Well, it helps a bunch of people in Congress can hear something that they never had to go to YouTube and listen to.
No, their staffers have heard all this. Their ears to the grindstone as far as anything that's out there publicly. They know full well about it, which is, I suspect, one of the reasons why Burleson said, well, if you end up getting nothing out of this hearing. Because he knows already. Yeah. That's another reason why we also haven't heard
and
from
we
Burchett.
Didn't say it, he said it. We're just pointing it out.
Correct. Right. So we're just repeating what he said and stating that because of the announced witnesses and the fact that they don't have firsthand knowledge, they don't have hands on a craft, like Burleson was saying the upcoming hearing was supposed to be about, and now we hear Luna bitching and moaning, oh, well, there's no witness protections in place, so they're afraid for their lives, so they're not going to come forward. So then if you're admitting that publicly already before the hearing, what does that mean? What can we expect is going to come out of this hearing? Nothing. Nothing. That's what's going to come out of this hearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
that's unfortunately the truth, and it's disappointing. That's why you can hear the frustration in our voices.
Okay,
because we're not happy about this.
I'll go back 15 seconds. You get to hear it one more time. We didn't say we told you so. You know what? One thing we got to cover on, Mike. You know, when we've had some of the things going on behind the scenes, they've been attacking the show and attacking us and everything. They're not attacking me and you. They're also attacking our audience, and that's what sucks.
Well, that's why we fight back, Thomas.
Oh, of course.
Which people also
and
don't
then
like.
some.
Yep.
Here we go.
More for the government.
I mean, I don't know. I think that I hope that we get some new insights from the witnesses. But what I'm saying is, even if we get nothing new, I think that what's going to happen with the letters and us dropping them along with the hearing, is what that's what I'm most excited about.
Are they going to go to the Pentagon, Department of Energy?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
FBI. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
There we go. And Matt Laszlo has been on it, man. He's got a bunch of other clips we're going to have to get to, Mike. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on in D.C. A lot of bullshit out there, honestly.
Too much.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that Burleson said? They're going to drop FOIA requests. They're going to send shockwaves through the IC community. From what I can tell, they're going to send laughter through the IC community with that. Nothing else. They're not going to get anything else out of it.
No.
Which is how it's been for decades now.
Yeah.
Those FOIA requests aren't going to do shit.
Yeah.
And they know it. It's just a gesture. Plus, let me remind the audience that this task force of Luna's that Burleson is on, it's due to be closed down the end of this year. They've done everything they're about to do. And that's it. It's temporary. It started out that way, and they already announced that they're going to be shutting everything down by the end of the year. So what we're going to get is all we're going to get at this point after this hearing.
Unfortunately so, Mike. Now, we did bring up the question and ask about it. What the hell is up with Tim Burchett, right?
Yep.
There's good old Tim. I've got him up here for an image on this. And believe it or not, Matt Laszlo did track down Tim Burchett. Let me get this cleaned up a little bit for presentation. Here we go. And we've got an audio clip. But, Mike, I think he's talking about Mike. You'll know what I'm talking about once we play it.
Yeah.
The intro to this, it appears someone has discovered some advanced form of propulsion.
Yep. That's Ivan's client. Correct.
Yep. Let's go ahead and see what we get into here. I think about 35 seconds. We can go ahead and play it. Here we go.
Grusch is getting stonewalled, and you're experiencing some frustration with classification. Are there other avenues you're considering exploring? Other people you're interested in trying to get?
Yes, but if we tell you, then it becomes apparent, and then they get blocked. So we learned our lesson on that.
So does it feel like they're hiding a U.S. government program from Congress, like Grusch claimed, that they were hiding SAPs, special access programs from you all?
I don't know. I don't know. I think, as I've stated, it's so compartmentalized and that it's handed off to a private corporation. That's my thoughts on it. And then that's how they escape FOIA. By giving it to a private contractor. Then the question is, they receive federal money. Should we not have access? So that's it.
Yeah, that's where I think it's hard to dispute that claim. I think that claim that Grusch made is a valid claim, that there's money that the private sector has in their budgets that we don't have any access to, because we're not appropriating to them directly for that at this time. The private sector, obviously, if they see an opportunity in the future for an RFP, they're gonna do advanced research and technology leading up to that. And so, but we're never probably going to ever have access to that information.
So the fear is less so that a foreign government has this technology. It's more so that our own government.
I can't say. I don't know.
Can you go over the money?
That is Matt's phone going off.
Again, just a bit more broadly, this money is appropriated by Congress, but why is it that you all don't know exactly how it's spent?
Yeah, that's exactly right. My question is where. So I think that the answer is that Grusch, his claims were that in some cases there's overbilling, or they're funding things that are to the extent calling it something
at one point, the Pentagon, 60% of their assets are unaccounted for. They've never passed an audit. This last deal, and we raised those issues, they penalized them by giving them $30 billion additional dollars this year. So, that's pretty clear. We're afraid to ask, and if you ask, you're not being patriotic. And that's why I call them war pimps. That's how they are.
So why not go right now? So why not go right now to the new speaker's office and kind of get his ear before the Pentagon does?
Yeah, we should do that.
Have you talked to him?
He just got elected.
I know, right?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Tim did.
All right.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tim. Oh, God, we got a close to Matt Lazo on that one. Mike, if you remember, look back, when Speaker Johnson, he was critical to get rid of the old speaker and to get Johnson brought in, gave the votes to get Johnson in. And he had a conversation with Johnson about this, and he asked Johnson specifically about getting a select committee. Remember?
I do.
And they turned him down, or Johnson turned him down.
Because Johnson is not pro-disclosure.
Right.
He's made that abundantly clear.
Take it for a second. I'll be right back. Yeah.
Yeah. So Burchett talked to him because he also gave a vote to get Johnson the speakership. So he thought that would give him some leeway in getting some information out directly from the Speaker of the House at that point. Promises were made, I'm sure, but he didn't follow through on it because Mike Johnson is not somebody who is pro-disclosure. Not at all. He shut down the request for a select committee on UAP with subpoena powers, and that's something that he did not want the Congress to have or the UAP caucus to have, because they might have actually done something with that would have ruffled a lot of feathers. So Johnson made sure they were never going to get that. But what did we get instead? Oh, we got this bullshit secrets task force with Representative Paulina Luna heading it as the chairperson. What have they accomplished? Nothing.
No.
We've gotten the needle on disclosure has not moved forward one bit. It's not going to. This upcoming hearing on September 9th is really a joke. It's not going to be anything worthwhile or of any value. And we're going to get repeat of the same thing we got on the last hearing. Nothing different.
Yeah.
So here we go again. Same bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Mike, there is yet more to cover from Matt Laszlo over at Ascapol. If I can find the sound effects, where the hell are they? I know they're here somewhere. Oh, here we go.
Scooby-Doos, where are you?
Yes, Mike, and our next clip coming from Matt Laszlo over at Askapole. I had to play those sound effects. I love those, having those things around. All right, where am I at? All right, let's get into it. Ruh-roh! UAP caucus keeps on being told we don't have clearances for certain things.
No kidding.
Complains the chair. Okay, Luna, let's hear it. It's something to talk about. Think about right about here's where we got to go now and play.
Do we have witnesses yet for the hearing? 4? What's the focus of?
You'll see the press release.
But you guys, what do you hope?
What's the focus of it? And what did she do? Deflects and says, look at the press release. Won't even answer it.
Right.
Like, is this a message to the Pentagon that you want to make with this, or is it a message to the American people?
Right now, we're also simultaneously working on getting clearances because we keep being told we don't have clearances for certain things. So,
yeah, okay.
So, as far as we're concerned, there's other blocks that are being put up, but no matter what, our witnesses are really good. And it's just confirming what a lot of people think. So you'll have to tune in to the not canceled UAP hearing.
But like, it's not going to focus on the Wall Street Journal article on the air.
Mike, did anyone say it's canceled? Burleson, no, not Burleson. That was Eric Davis had said that they couldn't get witnesses. So
correct, and he was right.
Yeah, it's true, and she
confirmed it.
Oh yeah.
You have to tune in, but there's also people that I've found that have previously worked at the State Department that put out false information and a lot of that stuff. So that's it.
Very cool. And we'll see that Tuesday morning.
You'll see the press release. It should already be out in regards to our witnesses. So I'm actually going into the on that right now.
But it'll be next Tuesday morning, is the hearing?
On the 19th.
Cool. Thank you, ma'am.
There you go, Mike. It's all right, Andy. A little disappointing again, Mike, but at least things are moving forward. Remember, weren't we supposed to have this hearing first in March and then April, and they were going to have 2 hearings this year? That was the plan earlier in the year, wasn't it?
It was, and they had been struggling to get something on the books, and they finally got this hearing on the 9th, but there isn't anybody that is going to provide any direct evidence or anything that the public is waiting to hear the entire time. So they made promises. Burleson said, we're only going to listen to witnesses with firsthand, hands-on-a-craft knowledge. Well, we didn't get that. And what they are going to give us is going to be disappointing, to say the least. But we'll cover it. We'll be here when that hearing is live, and we'll see.
Yes, and we will be live. For everyone who's wondering, are we going to cover it live? Yeah, of course we're going to cover this hearing. I think I skipped the one for NASA. Thank God. Yeah. But we are going to cover this one, of course. We'll be there live ahead of time and get the show up and going, probably 50 minutes, half an hour before we start up, and we'll be there through it. So on that note, we have 3 people in the back, Mike, with their hands up. We got Laura, Syrup, and then Andy. Laura, take it, my friend.
Yes. Who exactly selected these witnesses? And how large was the pool, do you estimate?
David Grusch, as far as we're understanding, is the one who was vetting and selecting the witnesses.
Right. But are they any of the 40 that he interviewed over 4 years in his investigation? No, they are not. These are people that I feel they got.
Wait a minute.
Because they're scraping the bottom.
But Mike,
of the
didn't
barrel.
they say that this hearing was going to feature people who had their physical hands on the craft earlier in the year?
That's what Burleson said publicly, repeatedly on more than one occasion. And not people with just rhetoric. They were going to have direct evidence. And that was under direction of David Grusch. So we thought we might be actually, for the first time, getting some red meat on the bone for the American public. But in reality, it seems that because they don't have proper witness protections on the law books, nobody with actual direct knowledge or information is going to come out or testify publicly. So because they finally got the hearing in place, They have to have somebody there. So they scraped the bottom of the barrel and they got George Knapp to testify. That's great. But the last time I checked, George never had his hands on a craft or worked on a legacy program. So,
or neither did Tim
that,
Gallaudet, but he was there to go ahead and speak from all the things he was told about.
Oh, and so was Michael Schellenberger, who was another journalist who
Right.
testified. But his information was directly from Jeremy Corbell, which he lied about, and got the information from Corbell's witness, Matthew Brown. So that was a complete farce and a waste of everybody's time. And now they're going to do it again with the next upcoming hearing. And we'll be there live to be able to tell everybody, we told you so.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
I'm hopeful that George might bring some paperwork forward, possibly from another country.
Nope. You're talking about the trip
Russia?
to Russia in 1993?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, let me inform you that George is a patriot and would never burn a source and never betray national security. I know that for a fact. So is he going to come out after all this time and testify publicly about information that he has remained silent on for the past 3 decades? Probably not, Laura. I would highly doubt that.
Yeah.
All we're going to get is everything that has been talked about publicly so far, and that's it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to have to give that news, but
Oh no, I
that's where we're at.
I was already disappointed when I saw Wiggins was going to be testifying, because we remote viewed that case a while back, and yeah, it's a blurry image, and it was very likely ours and not theirs. So
Right.
very disappointing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but we'll be covering it, and we'll
Yeah.
be telling everybody, you heard it here first. We told you so. This
Mike,
is what
there
you're gonna
is
get.
additional pushback on the hearing coming. Well, believe it or not, let's get it up here. Yes, Tim Phillips, the former interim director of RO, also has opened his big mouth and insert foot. Let's see. I don't recall. Okay. So Green Street actually also asked Phillips about the claims of Luna's witnesses. Alex Wiggins, a 2023 Navy Tic Tac encounter, and Jeffrey Nussatelli, the 2003 Vandenberg AFB UFO, and if RO ever investigated those cases. Phillips said, I don't recall RO meeting with evaluating the claims of Rep. Luna's witnesses. You know, could this be a more political theater, is what he's calling it out as, and has nothing to do with getting the actual truth? I don't know, but you know what? There's the naysayers out there, and from that side of the crowd, you know, Tim Phillips is in there. But, you know, I guess it comes down to RO. There aren't a lot of people who really trusted in RO, so are we truly surprised that... Oh, let me get into here.
That I hate to fucking say it, but for the first time, Tim Phillips actually said something that was correct about Luna's witnesses, because he's right. There is going to be nothing coming out from it.
Yeah.
We know that already. So, yeah, that's a shock.
Yeah, it
Tim
is.
Phillips told the
Not
truth
really.
for the first fucking time.
There we go. Exactly. So again, covering, but you know, we are critical in the covering, but just yes, the usual suspects, Mike, are popping up, and I'm not too surprised on this.
Well, it's not that you and I are being critical. It's that we're telling the truth about what's really going on and what we're going to get, and we're pissed off about it.
We're pissed off about it, and we're covering it without censoring both sides of it. But when we are talking about the other side, we are kind of critical. But you know what? The public deserves to know. Just saying.
Well,
Our
public
audience
has the right
deserves to know.
what they're going to get, and we're telling it to them like it is, and we're not happy about it.
Right.
But we're telling them the truth, like it or not.
Yeah.
That's what they come here for.
Yeah.
And that's what we give them.
Oh, yeah. You better believe it. Talking about giving and giving back. This is the man who's never stopped giving. The one of the former Watergate trial attorneys, Mr. Danny Sheehan, is out there, and they've got another video they've got over at YouTube, and he's it sounds like, I could be wrong on this, Mike, but it sounds like Danny's embracing and saying, we're getting controlled disclosure. Let's be happy about it.
Oh, Carmel again. Great. Yeah, that's the last thing we fucking need.
God, oh, I've got a video of that around here somewhere. Where the hell is that? I got to find it. All right. All right, let's play this clip. Oh, no, it's on the wrong place. Move this over here. What did I have up there? Oh, I had pictures of food. Did I have anything out there? No, nope. Okay, we're good. Let's get to this. No, not that. You know what you look like, Mike. Here we go. Let's play the clip coming from New Paradigm Institute. All right, here we go.
It's really a controlled disclosure process. That's the key to understand about this. What happened on the 13th of November of 2024 is one more step in the controlled disclosure. One can look at this in two different ways, both of which have a certain degree of legitimacy. The first one is, somebody's trying to hold up disclosure. Somebody's trying to keep us from all finding out about what's really true. On the other hand, people can view it as a responsible, controlled process of getting the information out in a way that will give us time to prepare our institutions, our economic and political, geopolitical, religious institutions, etc. The people who are asserting that that's why they want to slow the process down and keep it under control, these are the very people that have been flat out denying that it's even true for 80 years.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.
We have no evidence to indicate extraterrestrial life has visited the planet.
Oh, yeah.
So the question is, should you believe them?
No.
Should you believe that this is a good faith effort just to get it under control so that it can be done effectively? That's the question that's posed to the American people right now.
Well, we've got that, Mike. And to follow up, have we admitted in the past, without having to go to controlled disclosure, that there are UAP and that we've been dealing with them around the world? This is a video clip of Major John Olson in a press conference from about 3 years ago, Mike. Let's go ahead and play this clip, shall we?
Yeah.
It's a really good clip. Here we go.
About the unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and UFOs.
Well, this is a very hot topic, and I appreciate the question. I know, admittedly, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force is quite a mouthful in an acronym. I've gotten that question a couple other times. What do you think about UFOs or aliens? And quite frankly, having flown 83 different airplanes and had lots of hours, we've all seen lots of unexplainable elements. And the cosmos, the space realm is so large. If we look at the Earth, it is this tiny blue dot in an unlimited, almost incomprehensibly large cosmos. I personally believe that there absolutely, from a probability perspective, is life out there. However, this task force is a very serious U.S. government approach to systematically investigating and understanding these because, of course, unidentified elements present a national security concern, present a safety of flight, present a risk that we must take and diligently pursue. But I think the question is actually more broadly put, and that is we will continue this effort, and in fact I believe it will be getting more funding and more of a structural support level within the department. But I also believe that this is part of our never-ending quest to learn and understand and explore. And as we have on our probes that have exited the solar system to our probes to the moon, we have gone in peace to explore and discover, and we continue that yearning to see and discover, is there life out there, and what does that mean for humanity?
And secondly, off of UAPs, is there any cooperation with allies or partners on the UAP question and probe? Thank you very much.
This is it.
I think the second part of your question was related to UAP, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, and that UAP task force. And as far as I'm concerned, or am knowledgeable about that, I do believe it does involve collaborative inputs and information exchange with all kinds of countries around the globe, because I think these are not just solely actions or events that have occurred within the confines of the United States. They've occurred globally, and I think we're collecting that information. We're sharing information. We view that as an open and transparent effort and activity through the United States Congress and executed by our UAP Task Force Office. And so I would encourage greater collaboration and cooperation in that. And particularly, I think as we see various technologies that will help demystify or debunk or clarify. But I think it's also important. One of the reasons that we are doing this effort is because national security concerns are of paramount importance, and so is safety of flight and deconfliction and collision avoidance and issues to preserve and protect human life. So when we can better share and exchange information, I think that's better. Much like we do in the International Civil Aviation Organization, or otherwise known as ICAO, or in any other international bodies as well. I think there's a fertile and important opportunity to be pursued there.
You know, Mike, I am truly surprised by our audience. They're making fun of how the guy is talking, calling him a clown, but you know, he says some important things that maybe people were more focused on what he wasn't saying versus focused on the words that he was saying. This is probably some of the biggest statement we've gotten out of the Space Force, out of a military branch, regards to saying, yeah, it's out there. Yeah, we're working with other people. What's going on? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. So maybe the audience needs to be reminded that Lou Elizondo had come out and stated that he was working with the Space Force in a UAP investigative unit. That is not public information, but he spoke about it publicly. He was also working with David Grusch at the time. So we know Space Force has a unit that is looking specifically into UAP. They would not be spending money and investigating with people of that level and caliber if this was a subject that did not exist or they didn't take seriously. So the comments that are being made right now are, I think, very important. And people should be paying attention to that as opposed to how he's talking, in my opinion.
So I don't have the link to the video right here. It's Major General John Olson, U.S. Space Force on UAP. Black Vault, you cover this, but this was also played from a press conference that was out from Space Force at that time.
Right, and we covered it when that was live. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's important information because in the dribs and drabs of what the government is willing to publicly admit about this topic, this was the first time that we got an admission of what they're actually doing.
Was he in this clip? Did he talk about the 80 different planes that he had flown in his career, and everybody who flies these planes has seen something? Or is that in the other clip I didn't play?
No, that was in the clip you just said. 83 different aircraft.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. He's seen stuff.
Yeah, he has.
And based on what he has seen and what he knows, not personal of his interest in UFOs, but here he's not giving any personal aside. It's him giving a press conference in the extent of him being a general in the Space Force.
Correct.
And a lot of people forget about this stuff, but yeah, there has been announcements on this, but it's few and far between, and not a lot of people, remember.
Right. But we do, because we deal with it. So this is a reminder to the audience that on rare occasions, we have gotten an official admission that this is a real topic. The government is aware of it. The government is spending money on it, and the government is investigating it.
Oh, yeah.
They won't say that except for an occasion like this where they'll talk about this on a regular basis. They won't, but they have slipped it out here and there, and this is an example of that.
Exactly. No, I know we had three people with their hands up, Mike, if we can get to it. First was Andy, but has put his hand down. Andy, do you want to go first? You were very patient.
I was just going to go back to the hearing.
Yeah.
I think the timing that it's being broadcast is here in the UK is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, obviously, I work nights, so
yeah,
it would be getting up early to watch it. I don't think I'm going to bother.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I wake up early anyway, so I might be up to watch it, but I don't think I'm going to set my alarm for it.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, if not, we'll catch you on the replay. Nick Sailor Boy, you're new to the show. Welcome, my friend. I've seen you in the chat back.
Hey there, Thomas. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to point out, I think what a lot of people are seeing is the way he's talking, right? I'm ex-military myself. It's the political, circus, the way they use their words. At least we're getting something out of it, but I think that's where the frustration is. It's still it's a soup sandwich when they're trying to discuss some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other things that's not being talked about is it seems like there's a convergence happening right now across the board, UAP community, even down to the mental health community with how psychedelics are being utilized for veterans, not only up here in Canada, but it's just been open to you guys down in the United States too. And there's some sort of convergence that's coming out. Even Prince Harry's been discussing these things, that there are things that we are going to be talking with, depending on the certain dosages you take. I think disclosure is going to be intertwined with whatever is happening with mental health and spirit realm to what's happening with disclosure, because everything is converging all at once. Like it's either one distraction after another, or this is just something that is, everything's just coming down to a singularity point. Yeah. That's how it seems to be looking at least in my opinion.
I guess it kind of, I could surmise that what you're talking about or we're trying to get to is everything's going to come down to consciousness.
It seems to be the New Age community is, as much as there's resistance to it, there is some truth to it, it seems, but it also seems, if you look at it from the Christian perspective, it's an end of times eschatology type of thing. So like there is something that is required to be disclosed in the very near future, because everything's happening at once. Everyone's talking about these things being fallen angels to being something under the water, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff also aligns with the Mahabharata and ancient Hindu texts and the Hindu gods and stuff. Their palaces that they had in the sky at war with other ones that were up there. There's a lot of stuff that goes way farther back in our history. Even look at the Sumerians and stuff. So, it's our interaction with these quote unquote gods goes way far back, almost, hand in hand with all of humanity. Look at the cave paintings. Yeah, cool. I appreciate your input. Thanks.
Thank you.
Gene.
Hey, yeah, a couple of things, maybe to just try to put a binder around some of this, right? Controlled disclosure is a term of art in the counterintelligence field. And I've mentioned this on other shows. This tension that we're seeing now, this is a transition out of controlled disclosure because it has reached capacity and become unmanageable, into transition by design, which is all about aligning the institutions and all of these things that everybody talks about going on behind the scenes, and just like the interrogatories that are sent, those are the steps towards this transition by design roadmap going forward. So, to the earlier point about the hearing itself and it being a big nothing burger, absolutely. Just look at the title of the hearing. What is it? UAP, rebuilding public trust through UAP transparency and whistleblower protection.
I think it starts out with patriotically, though, first.
Reset. I'm sorry?
I think it starts out with patriotically first.
Yeah, but that sounds like a reset. It sounds like we have a PR problem, so we need to address that. And part of the PR problem is, we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, to get, witnesses in here. So we need to enhance these protections. So I see this hearing as a step back to a certain degree. And when it comes to the political leverage, much like Troy was saying, and Syrup was saying earlier too, they have to play this political game. The White House, who's ever in it, is never going to give up that degree of power that they have until it means a political win for that president, whoever it might be, to be able to do that. And the other mechanisms they have that we're forgetting about is the party money for re-elections and midterms and all the rest of that. And the president, as the leader of the party, has a lot of pull on those levers in order to bend people to their will. If it looks like the president doesn't get to be the champion of disclosure. So, it's all very convoluted, all very complex. But like I said, I think the bottom line in it is, we got to keep looking at all of these things holistically. We got to, follow the money. Personally, who do I think should be in hearings? I think the heads of Lockheed, the secretaries of the branches, where we've heard the stories, wherever that story came out of, we've seen the declassified, documents. That's who we need to put in those seats. And then the whistleblowers will come out. If they're perjuring themselves sitting in those seats, then I bet you'll see a lot more whistleblowers come out. I'll end there.
Yeah. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, you'll see more whistleblowers come out, Gene. If they can get whistleblower protections on the law books, that would most definitely have the dam burst wide open. These people would be protected. They would be able to come out with direct firsthand knowledge, and they know that they and their families wouldn't be harmed as a result of them bringing this out. But for some reason, like we talked about earlier on the show, Congress has had numerous opportunities to put those whistleblower protections in place and have repeatedly failed to do so time and time again. Even Tim Burchett quickly put together amendment for increased whistleblower protections on one page, and he couldn't get one lousy, measly page passed in Congress. They shut it right down. Yeah. So now Luna is complaining, oh yeah, we have finally got a hearing on the books right before we shut the task force down at the end of the year, but we don't have anybody that wants to testify. Gee, it must be a mystery. I wonder why that is. Oh, well, we know. She turned around and said, well, they're afraid. They're afraid of their lives. They have too much to lose, and we don't have enough protections in place, so they're not going to come forward and testify. Okay, well, listen, no shit, Sherlock. Then it sounds to me like you know what the problem is, and why aren't you taking the time to fix that problem, as opposed to just sitting there and publicly complaining about it? Do something about it. Put those protections on the books. Get these people to come forward. That sounds like the right way to move forward on this if I was her. But she doesn't seem to be doing that. No. She's just complaining about it.
It's political theater, Mike.
Yeah, but, complaining about something doesn't fix the problem. No. Does it, Thomas?
All right. Then, in other words, you were just saying is rather than just complaining about doing something productive to change it. Say, I don't like this, but here's what we're going to do.
Well, he publicly admitted recently that the people with actual information will not come forward and testify publicly because they don't have enough protections on the books. Well, then for her, it should have been simple as the chair of the task force. She now needs to focus 100% on getting that legislation and those protections in place as quickly as humanly possible. Do it. And she's not.
Yeah.
She's going to have this hearing.
Even if she tried to do it, Mike, it would take more than just her to want to do that. Like, she could want to do it and try to do it all she wants. All the members of Congress, the members of Congress have to play ball with her, want to do that.
They do. So if you have an understanding of how Congress works, they're not just focusing on one problem alone, like UAP disclosure. No, they're dealing with pork belly spending bills that need to get passed through the House with voting from other members that have to do with their personal
Hello?
jurisdictions and districts they come with. So how do you
No.
horse trade?
No, you're
negotiate?
there. No.
Bargain?
They didn't realize
You tell
that they're
these
still
other
talking and no
people
one's listening. I know.
that
I know.
if you want me
I'll
to
interrupt.
vote on your bill that benefits your constituents, then you'll get my vote. But here's what you're going to do. I'm going to get your vote on whistleblower protections that need to get put through as quickly as possible. That's called horse trading, and that's how Congress works since the Constitution was formed. Is she doing that? Is any other members of the UEP caucus doing that? The answer that I could tell you is I don't see it. I see people like Burleson, who have been making the talk show circuit, doing numerous interviews, going down to Mexico, talking with Stephen
Oh,
Greer,
come on. He was in that
talking
wonderful
about the
space
mummies.
with those trolls. And us just saying this, they're going to take this clip and use it now. But continue, Mike, please. Hello.
Yeah, I see Burleson making the talk show circuit and not focusing on the real problem, which is getting enough sufficient whistleblower protections in place in the law books and getting this problem fixed. So the next time, if we have another hearing, and that's a big if right now, because I know that the one coming up on September 9th is going to be such a shit show that the public is going to lose interest in this even more than they have already. And at that point, it's doubtful that anytime soon that we'll get another hearing after that. But if that happens, they need to fix this problem and get that legislation passed. And they can negotiate and bargain with the other members of Congress and the Senate to get it done.
Yes.
But is anybody doing it? No.
No,
Not that I
hopefully
can
no,
see.
but there are other things to grab your attention. Really quick, Mike. Excellent information and point on this, but audience says we need to jump on. Did you catch this one earlier in the week? There was an executive order that placed the NASA labor force under national security work. Under the order, it states entities are hereby determined to have as a primary function of intelligence, counterintelligence, investigative, and or national security work.
You're talking about NASA.
Yeah.
I did catch that, and that's something for the first time that's actually been put on the books that's making them what they've been all along, which is another extension of the executive branch. But we knew that.
So,
What
but
does
in the
NASA
same
stand for?
order, in Section 2, it adds in 1.420, for our audience members out there, I know what that means, the national NASA, placing NASA on the National Security Intelligence List for purposes of excluding it from Federal Labor Management Relations Program under USC S7103, but I'm sure it's going to go ahead and complicate the FOIA process as well.
Oh, it's going to shut the FOIA process down because everything is going to be exempt. They're not going to respond anymore, and no one's going to be able to get anything out of NASA once they enact this. And what's NASA stand for? Never
a straight answer, my friend.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And I think there was something else. Yes, there was not just that. I had it in a bookmark here a second ago. There was a FOIA request that was put out there for NASA for the James Webb Space Telescope. Where's the picture for this? And
Oh, this is good.
questions to think
Laszlo
about.
was on it.
What do they get back for the results coming on this one, Mike? Here we go. Questions to think about. Redacted. You don't deserve to know because it's just a space telescope. It's not saying anything out there that we need to worry about. It's national security.
No, there was a classified meeting with members of Congress and NASA about an object that the James Webb Space Telescope had detected.
Right.
And when Laszlo heard about this and started questioning members of Congress about it, if they attended the meeting, what was said, for the first time, they usually talk to him. They got very quiet on this.
Right.
these
So
questions.
there was in 2024 rumors with the classified web briefings and ends with 24 pages of blacked out slides. So it's not just this one, Mike. It's 24 pages of that.
Right. And they don't want to talk about it. Members of Congress will not answer a question about this. This is something that they consider to be serious enough that they are not going to discuss it publicly.
Even when they asked Representative Andre Carson about this, he's the representative who once chaired the UAP hearing, at the time, wouldn't say a word of what's going on. He just said no and walked away.
Nope. Yep. So it's either something catastrophic, like a natural event that could turn into an extinction level event, and they don't want to scare the public, or it's something else that they also don't want the public to know about. Either way, it's not a good answer. And now with this new classification of NASA, they're locking it down legally, where NASA doesn't have to comply or provide any information about anything anymore.
I mean, this wasn't even national security stuff. It shouldn't have been. This was like prep for material for a public hearing that anyone can stream on C-SPAN. Yet what was talked about in here was probably not what was covered in that hearing. Wow.
No, well, what was covered in that hearing was what it was that the JWST had detected. That's what they were talking about. That's what the emergency meeting was about. But nobody has breathed a word about that officially or publicly. There have been people in the scientific community with knowledge of it that have talked about it behind the scenes. That's how I know what was going on. But publicly, not a word. They're not going to discuss it.
Yeah.
And now they're shutting it down.
Yeah.
It's scary shit.
Well,
Because they're hiding something.
Anything can be scary. I would call it interesting shit. We'd like to know the truth, why they're hiding it from us. You could use scary, but scary involves fear, and you don't want to ever be afraid, because if you're afraid, you're never going to make the right decision. Always have to keep a clear mind on it and just accept it. It is what it is, and just it's going to fuck around, and we're going to find out whatever it is, honestly.
Right.
So, don't freak out. Everyone else is, and if you got a clear mind, you'll get through it a lot better.
Yeah, that's definitely the right approach, Thomas.
It's like you see ghosts. You see them enough times, you stop freaking out, you start realizing what you're dealing with, and you deal with it.
Right. That's all you can do.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to survive.
It's much better that way.
It's the only way to get through it.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Let me go ahead and get back to the desk on this one. Yeah, interesting week. I was out earlier in the week. Everybody knows we missed Monday's meeting, not meeting.
The show.
Live stream. It's like a meeting. Because my father-in-law had a issue with kidney dialysis, and after going through that, he was in the ICU, and he had a heart arrest. That's where your heart stops. Was gone for 3 minutes. They were able to freaking almost crack his ribs and get him back and everything, but it's just been a long recovery and a lot of time being spent in places. And now I have a husky little bitch around here who's decided after 2 years she is not going to tolerate being in a crate anymore. So now she gets to go ahead and shit and piss and make a mess, and then you get home dealing with the hospital to deal with the husky that you got to clean and the mess that goes along with it. So I don't know what's up with that girl.
So you've had a busy week this week, it seems like, with everything going on at home.
You think? Just a bit.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. Fun week.
Oh, yeah. Fuck around and find out. You deal with it. It's called life. You just have to be, what's the old saying? Expect the unexpected?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hope for the best
What's
and
another
prepare for the
saying
worst.
I learned at a young age? Literally, because we were going to get chickens and they didn't hatch. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. That's another motto to live by.
I think that's an apt description for the upcoming hearing, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that
one,
applies
yeah. There we go.
Perfectly, yeah.
Even Richard Dolan. We're not going to get into his video or anything, but let's just go ahead and cover it. I got to give it to him, Mike. He's covering it right here from Richard Dolan, Intelligent Disclosure. Why the public might not believe UFO disclosure when it happens. Why? Because, man, there is no trust.
No, none.
Will they
Zero.
believe the government when we get down to it? Probably not.
Not without direct proof, hard evidence.
Yeah.
It's the only way. They can't just say it or talk about it. They have to prove it.
Yeah. It was
no one's gonna
Separation
believe it.
Anxiety Truth Seeker, but yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
She ripped apart a metal cage and she actually bent the bottom of it inward, breaking some of the welds.
He wanted out.
Oh, she did. Yeah. Huskies, you got to enjoy them. You think you're going fine, and then you realize the kind of dog you got. Genetics.
Yeah. Stubborn.
Oh, what else? Okay, we got Burleson. We got that covered. We got Luna. Classification. Oh, well, talking about the Black Vault. He's done it again. Got to give him credit, Mike. Another tweet that I had. In new, the FOIA, Navy releases more records of the Black Vault about the 2004 Nimitz UAP encounter. And records about it, Mike, are still clearly being redacted.
Sure they are.
Yeah. We got the subject redacted. We got the classification redacted. And then it says in Nimitz 2004 could be reference to the 2004 UAP incident off the coast of San Diego. The video was released to the public. It's the Tic Tac video, period. Nothing else is let out. Explaining why it was shown or potentially, but oh yeah, it didn't happen. Remember, we even heard it from the Kirkpatrick. They mistook it. But I know Avi Loeb in the past did say it couldn't have happened because the Tic Tac should have burst into a fireball coming down in the atmosphere 56,000 miles per hour, that the sheer friction around the craft would cause it to burst into flames. So because it didn't do that, it couldn't be real.
Right. They must have imagined it. All of the sensor systems on board must have been hallucinating.
Oh, yeah.
And then I don't know why all of the records disappeared after that.
Oh, yeah. Remember, folks, I got told about the Tic Tac in December of 2004, 15, 20 feet from where I'm sitting right now in my garage hanging out with my former brother-in-law. Thank God he's former brother-in-law, AJ. We miss you, my friend. You should call in sometime. It'd be cool. He told me about the whole Nimitz incident at that time, and it's been an amazing fact, and I've known about it since then and some other stuff. So, yeah, they are global, Mike. They like the Middle East, too.
Yep. Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
All over the planet.
Let's see what
So
else.
it establishes we're not alone.
Yeah.
But they're not going to tell us what it is. But whatever it is, it ain't ours, and it's something that is here with us. But only in dribs and drabs do we get any mention of it from an official source. Like we played earlier in that clip from Space Force.
Yes. Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
We got to cover it. Yeah, it's kind of small, but I'll bring it up anyway. I won't hate myself, but the audience will enjoy it. Let's get to it. Luna's communications director got back to Stephen Greenstreet about a comment on what Kirkpatrick had said. Shall we get to it?
Oh, please do.
Oh, yeah. I knew it was in here somewhere. All right. Sorry if it's small, folks. Deal with it for once. Okay. Representative Luna, via her communications director, has responded to Kirkpatrick's comments. Kirkpatrick is an irrelevant little man who is a known documented liar, has blocked the release of information, and tried to discredit witnesses. Everyone should check out the News Nation article about him with Brennan Fugel. It seems to me that he's suffering more from small man complex, and for something his big emotions sometime his big emotions get the best of him. Fortunately, no one takes anything he says seriously. We will continue to pray for the recovery of Mr. Kirkpatrick and LM as well. Got to throw him in there. And his tiny ego and his journey to deal with his mental health issues.
Oh, my God. That's a really bold statement.
I know. Coming from David Leatherwood, communications director for Representative Anna Paulina Luna. Bam.
Fired.
Hey, we cover both sides of it, and it doesn't get better than this, honestly. And people say, "Yeah, why are you promoting this shit?" It's because it's entertaining.
It's real. It's what's happening. Everybody has a right to know. That's why we cover it.
Oh yeah. Oh, all right. Let's get back into what do I have next. I'm just going through the last of the stuff that I've gotten over the line. Okay, we covered that one. Not sure what the hell. No,
While
that's a maybe.
You're going through bookmarks. If anybody has any questions, now would be a time to
Yes.
ask.
Well, I'm going through the bookmarks the entire show. I'm just trying to see what's going on.
Well, while we're waiting, why don't you put up a poll and ask everybody if they think the upcoming hearing is going to produce any
I can do
results or
that.
not.
Let's go ahead and do this. Start a poll and say, yeah. Oh,
Nothing
there's a
burger
number.
or something new.
Okay. UFO hearing.
Will it move the needle on disclosure, or will we get a big fat nothing burger
No.
again?
I got it. All right. Let's get it. Bring it up. Thank you for the idea, Mike. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's get the sound effects up and going. Where are they at? No, I don't need Scooby-Doo. I need frequent, and I need this one right here. All right, by that sound, folks, that means we've got a survey going. I'm not showing on the screen until right now. Here we go. The survey is, the question is for our audience to go ahead and tell us what you think. The upcoming UFO hearing, is it going to be substantive? Probably spelled that wrong, but that's okay. A nothing burger or something else? Clearly, Mike, a nothing burger is in the lead by a almost a good 40%.
Well, that's because the audience has been paying attention, which is a good sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, whether we like it or not, Mike, we have to follow what our audience says. And right now they're saying it's, there's actually a tweet I put out there. I responded to somebody. Was it Ivan? I think it was Ivan.
Ivan. Yeah.
And I had it either being a nothing burger or what was the one I put on there? Oh yeah, where's the beef? From the old ladies from the Wendy's commercial.
Claire Rappella, where's the beef?
Where's the beef? God, they make the bun in the box so huge, and the little burger. Gotta love those days. All right, let's give another 30 seconds. Hey Google, set a timer for 30 seconds. Sorry, folks.
Okay, 30 seconds. Starting now.
All right, we're going to wrap up this vote here really quick. But yeah, Mike, overwhelmingly by a good lead of 40 to 42%. I know. Yeah, 42%. There we go. Nothing burger it is. With just 13 seconds left, 79 votes coming in. I don't think it's going to move. Nothing substantive. All right, let's get to it. And I'm going to end the poll. All right. There we go. Final numbers. It did go back up to 60 at the very end, as you can see in the chat right now. Actually, 59% there. I saw in there. There we go. 19% saying it's going to be something big. 59% of our audience called. 60% are saying it's a nothing burger, and 22% saying it's something else. Yeah, nothing burger again. I think that was the title card we used for the last one.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, because we knew ahead of time exactly what was coming, so yeah, it was easy.
Yeah. You get used to this stuff after a while, unfortunately.
Unfortunately is the word.
Yeah.
Key operating word, because we don't like it, as you can tell by the tone in our voice. We're not happy about any of this shit.
Right.
We wish it was different. We work hard for it to be different, but when we get stopped and it gets shut down, we get pissed off, as does the audience, I would imagine.
Definitely, my friend. But at this note, I think we've covered everything tonight.
Yeah. It's a interesting show. We had a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Had a fun time. Covering a lot of different stuff going on. Nice to see that there's actually things going on, Mike. Tomorrow we may or may not have the show, depending on if we're heading up to the hospital again and I have to deal with the husky. Maybe bring Worth in the car. We'll figure this one out. It's going to be a trip, but trip we have to do again. So we'll figure out the show.
We covered a lot tonight, so either way, it's good. We'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, my friend. And, I want to go ahead and where is this at? I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats we've had tonight from our audience. Remember, we're a fan-funded program. I want to thank our supporters tonight. Ash is on air. Vern Dude once and twice. Thank you very much, Vern Dude. Firefly. Baba 200. Charles Kerr once. And Charles Curl Kerr, again, thank you very much, everybody. We love you for your support and everything. I appreciate you coming out. Mike, thank you for being here tonight.
Well, my pleasure. It was a lot of fun, my friend. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And as we usually say at the end of every one of our episodes, the Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone, but...
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Y'all come back now. Here, take care. Bye-bye.